Hey, an episode of the most recent batch that I finally liked, more or less. Back to the Kindergarten was decent. Nothing in particular comes to mind that I would give exceptional praise, but it was a relatively solid experience given what was being tackled, which was Peridot's depression and despair over Lapis abandoning Earth. Or more specifically, abandoning her. What's Peridot been up to since Lapis left?
Nothing.
How very relatable. Amethyst is having no more of it though, and tries to cheer Peridot up by dragging her along to kindergarten. I appreciate that while Amethyst is being rather forceful, literally at that, Peridot did actually want to tag along and hang out with her friends.
I miss that.
That's nice. Would have been super screwed up had Amethyst dragged Peridot with her against her will. While Amethyst has fun looking at the birth sites of her recently acquainted Famethyst chums, Peridot's visit to kindergarten is a much more sullen experience as she realizes how horrendous the creation of gems actually is to life. It's neat how Peridot's life in the country, surrounded by nature, really colored her perspective and lets her see kindergartens in a whole new light. Or rather, see them for the darkness that they are as they render the land infertile and eradicate ecosystems completely. A lone flower at the premise, though, gives the group hope that perhaps the damage to the area is not permanent, and they set out to gardenize the kindergarten. I have no clue why they thought sunflowers were a good idea. While sunflowers are tough and can grow in pretty crappy soil, as their name implies, they do require a lot of sun and do best in full sun. Kindergarten is, entirely devoid of direct sunlight and covered by a miasma-like haze to boot. Why would you try to cultivate plants that require heavy sunlight there, ya doofs? So yeah, their garden dies, though it probably would have eventually died even if the soil was not infertile. We find out the area remained desolate the whole time, as that lone flower was a harbinger of false hope. It was a gem monster the whole time, and at that point, Peridot runs out of fucks to give. I got a kick at Peridot being 100% apathetic toward being eaten. While it's a comical way to show how frustrated and upset she is at the state of the world, I do also think it highlights that she has trust in her friends to save her without any major complications. Which they do, as smoky quartz in a battle that felt really rushed. I mean, for the most part it's fine, since the combat is by no means the focus of the episode, but it was still a tad jarring at just how brief the battle went by, and I would have personally have really liked to see Steven and Amethyst do a fusion dance instead of just performing a handshake. As I said though, it's a pretty minor portion of the episode overall, but it would be nice if some more effort was put into interesting combat. We haven't had that in a while. By the episode's end, Peridot does manage to feel better by realizing that the world is vast and holds plenty of possibilities and opportunities, so even if one aspect gets messed up, there's still plenty of beauty out there to find. Life is still very much worth living. The turnaround at the episode's end was a little abrupt, but I appreciate what the episode went for, as well as the plot device of the train ride. The first time they rode the train to kindergarten, Peridot sulked in the back of the boxcar and wasn't even facing the scenery they passed. After they planted the vegetation and were coming back to check on the progress, she was facing the landscape, but was likely mentally preoccupied with thoughts of how to keep transforming the kindergarten into a ginormous garden. It makes sense that she may not have soaked up the scenery or fully comprehended the reason for taking the long way during this particular trip in the first place. Plus, the sunset does enhance the beauty of the countryside at a poignant moment of self-reflection the characters were having. It was a nice episode. The story wasn't amazing or anything, but it's nice that the characters had to find a new outlook despite experiencing severe failure, and it was an overall enjoyable watch. Out of this particular batch, it was my second favorite, with my number one being up next.